A group of Ukrainian orphans are due to arrive in the UK later today. Aged between 2 and 19, they will be travelling from Poland to London before making their way up to Scotland later in the week, where arrangements have been made for their care. Joining us in the studio, Ian Blackford, leader of the SNP, of course, in Westminster. Mr Blackford, good to have you on the programme. Lovely to see you in the studio this time. Let's talk about this. Tell us exactly how you got involved in this and what it is that you're hoping to achieve.
Well, I mean, Hibernian Football Club played a football game in 2005. There's been a long association since then of the charity Dnipro Kids giving support to a number of orphan homes. And Stephen Carr and his team decided when the war broke out that they wanted to help and they wanted to make sure that the children could be given sanctuary for now in Scotland. So I got involved to help them to get the necessary approvals from the Home Office. And I'm grateful for the support that eventually we've had from everyone. And this is just such a fantastic story of 50 people that can get sanctuary, can have the chance to get on with their lives in safety. But there is, I think, a message out of this as well, Neil, is that everyone's come together to protect these children. We need to make sure that there are routes for sanctuary for other children that need our support as well.
Just tell us then a little bit about the children that are coming across. As I understand it today, they're going to get to London and then make their way to Scotland. What awaits them when they get to Scotland then?
Well, they're going to go into accommodation outside Edinburgh for the first 2 or 3 weeks. Let them settle in Scotland, make sure that they're properly supported, and then they're going to be coming into Edinburgh. But so many people have got behind all of this. The local authorities in Scotland, the Scottish Government, the football club themselves. These children are going to get a warm Scottish welcome, Scottish hospitality, and fully supported for all the time that they need to be here before it's safe for them to return to Ukraine.
Anecdotally, I've seen plenty of reports that there are any number of orphans in Ukraine at the moment. It appears to be a bit of an issue. Do we have any rough idea of kind of how many there are there that are still needing to be brought out of the country?
Well, I mean, there have been various reports, but I think the figure that has been used has been a figure as many as 10,000. I think, you know, one of the important things is we're doing this today, and I'm really grateful to the likes of Lord Harrington and Kevin Forster that have helped us over the course of the last few days. But we're debating a bill tomorrow that will criminalise refugees. And I want to say to Conservative MPs, just think about this. Just think about the humanity that we're all showing today. Let's make sure that we all do our bit to make sure that we welcome vulnerable people. We did this before the Second World War with the kinder transport that people often talk about. Let's make sure that that generosity, that welcome, that sanctuary that people need at a time such as this is something that we can all be proud of.
So does this all mean that you'll be doing a David Cameron then and popping yourself behind the wheel and heading out there to the front line or close to the front line?
Well, look, it's not about me or anyone else. Sure. I think really we've got to do what we can to help, and I think myself, my colleagues, lots of other people will want to do that. But most importantly, it's about being a voice for those that needed help, being a voice to help the charity, the Dnipro Kids charity in this case. But let's make sure this is not the end of it, but this is the beginning of it, and that we continue to support those that need it. We're all watching the horrors unfolding. We've seen what's happening in Mariupol, which is just devastating to see what's going on. We need to make sure there are safe routes out for young people, for families that need our support.
I suspect, given your position, you're on the opposition benches, you're not in government, but I suspect your position means that you might feel slightly freer than the Health Secretary was on the programme this morning. We have now heard from a number of very senior officials, well, senior figures within Ukraine, senior figures outside of Ukraine, that Vladimir Putin is a war criminal and that acts of genocide are being committed. You can feel comfortable saying that?
One of the things I actually raised at Prime Minister's questions a few weeks ago, that we need to change our own law to reflect on acts of aggression. I mean, it's clear that we need to go after the perpetrators of these crimes. There are legal niceties in terms of the definition of genocide. These are unspeakable crimes for a man that's slaughtering innocent civilians in Ukraine. That's all we need to know, and this man and his regime need to be held to account.
But to conclude, let's talk about the orphans that are coming across. And you do not have to be a parent to look at the scenes, you know, in Mariupol and elsewhere where babies' bodies are being pulled from the rubble. You don't have to be a parent to find that morally abhorrent. But I suspect that there will be plenty of parents who would wish to help those children that aren't lucky enough to have parents. How can they?
Well, I think people can obviously register through the UK government site, and of course they can tick the box if they're in Scotland for the super sponsors. People want to do this. People want to help. Government needs to make sure it can move at pace. We're facing war in Europe. None of us ever thought we'd be seeing this, seeing Europeans that are being bombed, people that are having to flee war. We need to do all that we can, and we need to make sure that we get people here.
Should we have seen it? Should we have seen it? Given what happened 2014 and even before, should we not have seen this coming?
I think there have been policy failures over the course of the last few years. Of course they are, but we are where we are now. We need to make sure that we're supporting the Ukrainians to the fullest extent with the military support that's been given to them. That needs to go as far and as fast as we can. The humanitarian support. What counts today is the Ukrainian people and the way that they're suffering from the bombardment of their country.
Well, we wish you all the best of luck with the kids coming across. Maybe speak to you once they've settled in up in Edinburgh. For now, Ian Blackford, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.